Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Welcome back to the best podcast in the whole entire world with me, Adam Roberts. I was doing the names. I did 2 names. That's not my thing. With me, Adam Roberts. And then
And I'm Luke McGill, also known as Luke MC, also known as Dead Sheeran, also known as Angry Kid, also known as the Orangutan. Yeah, I think that's about it.
is that it?
No, I've probably got.
I had a few on the locker. I'll save them for later or something. But yeah, back with
With a vengeance.
Back with a vengeance! Back by popular demand, that's what I was trying to say. Because basically the last podcast went down an absolute treat. We got about 1 million streams in the first hour. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Did you feel a bit more famous after that?
Nah, it was
Really?
amazing.
I think my Instagram followers went up by about 1 after we posted it, but it is what it is. Last time we were talking about a bit about us and our stories and how we got to where we are today, and today's going to be a bit different. We're going to be talking about dating in the modern day and dating apps as well. This is your favourite Clubhouse we did, wasn't it?
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I thought we had lots to talk about.
So monotone and tired from work.
Yeah, I'm shattered. I had like 5 coffees today.
Come on, energy.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting topic. There's some funny stories that come out of it, and
we can talk about funny dating app stories and stuff. So, first question that I've asked Luke 4 times already is, before I ask a question, I quite like this setup a bit more because we're on the table and chairs over there before, but now I feel like we can look at each other in the eyes less intensely and look at the cameras as well.
Yeah. Got the best of both.
So Luke did say yesterday we should have done this, but he didn't mention it, but here's what it is. When do you remember, when was the first time you downloaded a dating app? I'll pretend I haven't heard you answer this 3 times.
I think it must have been sort of like around about at the age of like 17, 18, I think. That was the first time, and I think it was probably Tinder. I think that was the first one I had, because that was the only one really about back then. It was like the first one, wasn't it, where people got it. I can't imagine I had much success with it, to be honest.
You got shit chat back in the day, did you?
Well, I don't even think I got a chance at a chat, no matches.
Really?
I was just busy swiping and getting pied. My thumb was worn out by the end of it, honestly.
Was it?
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
What about you? Were you a similar age?
Why say that? I think this is recorded. I think it was overheating before the laptop, because when it froze last time, it was on like 1 minute 57. Now we're on like 3.5 minutes in. So I don't want to speak too soon, but yeah. I think I remember being like 16, maybe something like that. Just like a horny 16-year-old downloading this new app called Tinder, and then set my age range to like 16 or something. I vaguely remember going. Do you remember? Did you ever go to Evolution Festival in?
I never went to Evo. No.
Did you not? Oh, there was the days of it. I remember going there, I think, and like I was thinking, oh yeah, there's loads of fresh new girls that haven't like matched with the distance and stuff. I can't remember if it was like that you could do that far distance back in the day or something.
Yeah.
But I remember that was sort of like 16, 17, I think. And that's when I first downloaded it. I can't even remember why I downloaded it. Can you remember what you did? Or like how it came about?
I don't think I actually wanted to date people from it.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't know, people had it, and it's like, see, you can swipe on these people. And it's very, like, as opposed to having to, like, what did you do back in the day? Actually meet people when you're at parties or, like, message someone on Facebook. I never used to pop up to people either.
Did you not?
So it's just, not really, I just let them do the work.
Ooh,
I got,
in demand.
I have to sift through all the messages.
Did you like message requests and a lot?
Yeah, plenty one.
You must have been busy, you.
It was heavy.
No wonder you said you didn't do your homework in the last one you did it on the bus and you spent all your time going through your
messages. Yeah, and then, and I think it was just like a sick way to just be able to like swipe if you like someone or if you don't, then just go through. Not that I was that picky really, even. Swiping right for everyone.
I think, should we go like just before like Tinder and then like 16, 17, 18? And like, because you had a proper girlfriend just before then, didn't you?
Yeah, when I was like, my first serious relationship.
True love and
like,
that.
15, 16.
Yeah. So like, how did that like kind of come about? Like, I think we should talk about like the transition, because some people will be like, Tinder and like dating apps is like the one that they've been using. Whereas like for us, I feel like we've gone through like
the normal stage.
Yeah, the normal to like the new normal of dating apps and shit.
I think like, well, my first girlfriend, I remember I fancied her for ages, and then like we were just close friends and stuff, but we used to message all the time. And she had different boyfriends that she went out with while I was still a friend.
Really?
Yeah.
So you like did she friend zone you, or was it not? Was it just like something always going on?
I never said I liked her. I was just like, admiring from afar, like a stalker. But yeah, and then like it was sort of friend zone, but like I'd never like put my intentions of that I actually liked her towards her, put my feelings out there really. But yeah, and then I think like I don't even know what happened. We just sort of got closer, and then eventually. I think I basically was made 100% sure that she was going to say it. Like I wasn't getting rejected. Too afraid of
Was this when you still had a boyfriend?
No, just single at this point. And like I'd been told by a friend that she said she'd answer me. And I was like, she's definitely going to say yes.
So you had inside info then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite clever. That.
I was friends with them as well, so it was a group of friends.
Fucking hell. This sounds like a whole strategy.
Yeah. And I was like, so then just went for it, and and then that was that, just like that.
How did you ask it?
I think I just went, will you be my girlfriend? And none of this, will you go out with me? It was cool. Will you be my girlfriend? Yeah, but I always think, like, so, obviously, like, we had messages and stuff, Facebook messages back, like, when we were younger, still, or, like, text. But, like, I always think, for my parents and your parents, it must have been an absolute nightmare, like, being like, so you meet someone and you're like, oh, we're going on a date on next Tuesday at 6 p.m. You just have to hope they turn up at that time rather than, like, you can't check with them on the way. You've got like the house phone and that's it. If they don't turn up, you're like, they've been pied, or they might have been running late and you don't have a clue.
Yeah, I've got a funny story actually about my mum and dad, how they met. So when, I hope they don't mind me saying, but it's not that bad. So like, they went to like a school disco or something, I think it was. Like, I think my mum was like 16, my dad was like 17. And then...
UJ?
Like, yeah, back in the day, like years and years ago. And they went to like all boys and all girls schools, and apparently... they only normally invited like certain schools to go to be like tactical and stuff, or like it was maybe they weren't, one of their schools wasn't meant to get invited, but like they'd spare tickets and they got invited. And then my dad went over to my mum, I think, obviously not at the time, but like went over and then just like started chatting and stuff. And then my mum was like, my mum was like, oh, I'm just going to the toilet, and just left. Yeah, and then didn't like say anything, and then apparently like my dad was just like, what the fuck? And then he remembered where she said she worked, so went to her work. Went to her work, and then like that's how they like started out dating and stuff. Like, that's mad, isn't it? Because obviously you can't get a phone number, you can't get Facebook, you just got to try it. Like, imagine going somewhere, just remembering, oh yeah, they work at that place, and going and they conveniently are working on that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's mad.
Well, that's not how they met, but my mum and dad, I remember they were in separate schools as well, boys and girls. She was in the grammar school and he was in like this other school that was a bit rougher. And then they had to get put together. So like they'd seen I think the kids were still sort of separate. They'd seen each other around in school and stuff. And then dad was like the taller one of his mates at the time and like looked a little bit older, so he got sent in. My mum worked at a fireworks shop and he got sent in to go and buy some fireworks, and then she wouldn't serve him. She was like, no, you're from school, and she was like because my mum's a goodie too, she no way. And then so he was a bit pissed off of her after that, so but then eventually she asked him out actually.
Really?
I've got a friend too, and he pied her the first time.
Oh,
maybe the second time, and then eventually she ground him down. He said yes.
Persistence is key, though. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, I feel like when a girl goes after like what they want, they'll always get it. You know what I mean? Because the boys are easy to wear down. Well, like them anyway.
I think sometimes if someone tells you that they're attracted to you or they like you, that can often make you more attracted to them in some way, like knowing that.
Like confidence kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
and just being like someone that maybe you weren't that interested in before, but actually knowing that someone's interested in you can be like, oh shit.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Like you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Picturing yourselves in like with kids and getting married.
Yeah, and like having a house and a few dogs and that.
Oh, yeah, the dream. Like
literally living the dream. So yeah, we've kind of gone on a tangent there, but yeah, that's how our mum and dad's met. So that's quite cute.
Yeah. So, and what about you? Like with your first girlfriend?
With your like first school girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, how old were you again?
I was 14 when I started.
14. Did you like do like activities and stuff with them, like go places, see shit, or like why did you class it as the first proper?
Just because the only ones I'd had before were like 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And then,
what kind of stuff did you do with
as
them?
a girl, I was like, oh, yeah.
I loved it.
Told her I loved her. I became a man as well.
With my balls dropped. What stuff did you like do with it then?
Bits. No.
Not like that. I mean, like, actually, we can talk about that as well.
Pool. Yeah, I just did. Like, used to even like play out.
Yeah,
School.
That's the thing. I don't think I had that at school. You know, like I had a few like, well, I wouldn't say like girlfriends, but like, I remember when I was in year 7. This isn't like a proper one, but it might be. The first like secondary school girlfriend, if you can class that, I had. There's a girl. Obviously, and we went into like town together. I remember like our parents like took us and then dropped us off, and then we like walked around town and went to like Claire's accessories and shit. That was quite cute.
Yeah, it was a weird one actually, because when we weren't able to drive back then. So like, and my girlfriend originally lived at like somewhere which is like halfway to Newcastle, so it was like an hour away.
Yeah.
We moved closer like later on in the relationship, but like we used to have to get picked up or dropped off by each parent every time to go to each other. Like obviously now you don't think about it, you just pick someone up. Unless you can't drive, obviously. But
it's fucking gruff, isn't it? And you have to tell your mum and dad as well where you're going and shit, don't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like I think maybe like year 9 or year 10, like I had like girlfriends at school, but I didn't really do anything with them outside school. You know what I mean? It's just like shit relationships. Just like having a kiss now and again. Maybe like go to a party, and then you'd like have a few kisses and that was about it. But yeah, like until like 6th form, I didn't really have like a proper girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like we didn't like go to Blackpool or anything, so I was deprived of that.
That's when you know when you go to Blackpool together.
Yeah, so I think I was deprived of that until like a late age. But I think I was like a late bloomer and all that kind of shit, really. And then just kind of like tried to make up lost time. But it's what it is, you know what I mean? Like the girl that I really fancied at school, I ended up going out of her in like year 10 maybe. I think it was. Chatzzz, she was called. Big shout out. Yeah, I just fancied it all throughout school, you know. I don't know why. She was Scottish as well. She's quite good. Yeah, she's quite good looking. But I remember getting my dad to like buy a. Have you heard of Eva Longoria in like Desperate Housewives or something?
Yeah,
she absolutely loved that, right? And I had like my heart set on getting her like
Housewives is a good show though.
Yeah, I had my heart set on like getting her like a sick birthday present. Like me and my dad go and get like that perfume she just launched from like town and then gave her it and stuff. And I swear she like finished me like a few days after before my birthday. Her birthday was like the 17th of February. Mine was like the 23rd. Rinsed me for the present. Well, I didn't even know if I gave my dad the money, but maybe it did, maybe it didn't. And then yeah, she finished like a few days after and stuff. And then I swear like we got back like a few days after that or something. So she was tactical as fuck, like, but I loved her all throughout school. Like she was class. But yeah, that was like the closest I came really to like a proper relationship until I was like 17 maybe, something like that. But yeah, it's just like at school, running around the playground like after them, just like trying to flirt with them, taking the piss out of them. And yeah, it's just when you look back, you think, my crack was shit.
What's shit? Has anything changed? No.
No, nothing has changed. But I don't know, it is weird thinking back, like now, reminiscing and that. But when was your first like proper kiss then?
What, like with tongues and that?
Yeah, or like a proper passion.
Passion. Probably my first girlfriend again. Like,
was it? Yeah.
I think I'd kissed. I kissed like a couple of girls that I went out with in year 9. Like I had my first kiss, like a peck or whatever. I remember once, like. So I'd already had my first kiss for another girl, and then we broke up, and then I went out with another girl.
You're flying.
Yeah, these lasted like a week each. But, and then we were in the middle of town with all our friends. I still like speak to the girl now. She's sound. But we're all there, and then like we were saying bye to each other because she was getting picked up by her mum, and then. Like obviously everyone looked at us, expect like it was a hug, and then everyone expected us to go for the kiss. I went and clashed noses, and like smashed noses into each other. I was like, oh. But I, to be fair to me, I went, oh that was shit. Let's do it again.
Really, confidence there. Yeah. Go on.
So I covered for it, but it was shan at the time. Everyone was watching as well.
Yeah, you do get proper embarrassed. I think I remember was it maybe the first kiss with that's Chatzzz. And then like we like hit teeth together. I was like, oh yeah, proper teeth.
That's what you're meant to do.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I think I like had my first proper kiss with someone before that though. Maybe like the year before. Get my practice in and that. But yeah, it was a weird one, isn't it? Because I was literally just like girlfriends at school, didn't do anything with them outside school. And then yeah, that's probably why I like didn't know what to do in like my first like proper kind of relationship, you know what I mean? I was fucking, you're just young, aren't you? You don't have a clue, got no experience of like what to do and what not to do and that kind of stuff. But yeah, my first proper girlfriend was...
So I was going to ask you, how did you get into that?
So, interesting story. So my first proper girlfriend was at sixth form. So I was maybe 17, I think I was. And then, so I changed from my first secondary school to sixth form with you, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, whole new loads of, like, girls and that. And then, yeah, just fancied a few of them and that. And then got talking to one at a party. So my smooth move was, right, back in the day, if anyone wants any tips, don't listen to this. But I remember, like, she was sat down on like a chair. Have you heard this story before?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. She was sat down on the chair, and then I just like sat down on top of her, like sat on her lap, and I was just like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Whatever. I was like, I'm a heavy, and then say, oh, do you want to sit on me? So then he sits in your lap, and then kind of like make eye contact, and then you have a bit of a kiss and that. So that's a smooth maneuver.
Any of you that are struggling to kiss.
Yeah. So just basically, don't go in like in the street and stuff and randomly sit on people's
some girl on the bench that you fancy, don't go sit on her and stare into her eyes and just start getting with her. Like, I mean, don't advise that.
Yeah, and say, do you want to sit on me?
That's actually assault, and we're not responsible for any charges you may get.
Yeah, don't go around this town and say, do you want to sit on me? Yeah, and then just like got talking to her, and then yeah, and she was the one who actually took my virginity, to be fair. And then like after that, just
you were a late bloomer.
Yeah, I was like a month before my 17th birthday, and then
I was too young for mine. Like, to be fair.
We'll go on about your experience later on, I think. But then, so yeah, and then just because she'd already had like a boyfriend and stuff before, so then we just kept on like going back to each other loads and loads. Like it was really, really toxic, wasn't it? Like all the time. Like I think we did like each other. But like for me, I just didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean?
No.
Like I was like, oh, do I like her? Do I want to just like?
And it just started off with you like just being like a drunk thing that like every party you just like sort of
gravitate towards
each other. Like, but yeah, and you'd also like fall out a bit as well and stuff.
Yeah, like that's what I mean.
Like when you were a record.
Yeah, like. When I think back, I'm like, I was a fucking idiot. Like,
I could have told you that. Then.
Yeah,
you probably did.
But yeah, so then it just kind of ended up like gravitating. We always like, even sober though, like we'd always like go back together and then go with other people. Like not like be with people, but like see other people and stuff and that. And then it's ended up like making it official one time, and then yeah, it wasn't a good relationship, to be fair. Like, I think. I don't know. I didn't really learn much from it. Well, I did actually. I learned you need to be more mature in relationships, and communication is key. And if you want to be with people, and be single, and don't like try and string two people along for it. That's my mature head now. Like 7-8 years later, in the moment, I wasn't. But yeah, that's a top tip for everyone. Like, don't string people along. There's feelings are involved, and you can upset people. So
yeah, people do have feelings, and you might hurt them.
At the time,
somehow you didn't realize.
Yeah, at the time, if you think you're like a proper lad and a player and stuff, like yeah, your mates might think you're cool, but you're just being a dick, aren't you? So communication, be honest, people. This is my mature head now, sober head. But yeah, my first relationship was awful, and yeah, it ended really badly as well, didn't it? Because we officially ended like. Before I went on our first lad's holiday. Yeah. Oh my god. Like, because I remember it was like, oh, we'll just end it now, whatever. Because I was going to uni anyway. And then flew over there. And I ended up flying back because I was like crying over and stuff. And I was just like, oh my god, I want to be with her. And then she didn't want to be with me when I flew back. And I was just like, oh my god.
It there, mate.
Literally. Oh, that was so bad. I was an emotional wreck though, wasn't I?
You know what you want when you can't have it.
I know. That was bad.
Yeah, to be fair, I've never really been like that. Or like, I wasn't when I broke up with my first girlfriend. It was like because I wasn't happy anymore, and I was just like, Joe, I need to do it, even though it's gonna hurt in the short term. It'll be much better in the long run, and just went for it. And was like, and it was a bit brutal. The way I went about it probably wasn't the best, and a lot of feelings were hurt, but I still did the right thing. That girl's just recently got engaged, so
actually, congratulations if you're watching. You're definitely gonna be watching, aren't you? 100%. But like, so how did you lost your virginity quite young, didn't you?
Yeah. So I think I was 14, which like at the time I felt old, but like obviously you look back now and it's like that. Oh, he's young. Sorry, Mum, if you're watching.
Sue's definitely watching. Like,
but yeah, and like we'd obviously like done bits and like we're leading up to it. Then one day the sex health roadshow, whatever it was, came to school and like gave us a lesson on blah 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 and gave us some condoms. I was like, oh, we've got condoms now. And then probably gave her the worst 10 minutes of him being generous of her life. But and it probably wasn't even. It was probably like Will Off in between us. But yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, that's quite cute. But yeah, so then obviously after we finished school and stuff, how many girlfriends you had in total now? You had a few, so
yeah. So I had that first one, then I had a girlfriend like when I was 18. Yeah, like you know.
Oh yeah, all right, okay.
Portuguese.
Sorry, we won't name names.
We don't name names. And then I had my fairly recent one.
So yeah, how did you meet them all? Let's talk about that because we need to be going back into like dating, don't we? Rather than just fucking when we're losing virginity.
So my second girlfriend, I met her in Concrete, I think. But like I thought
that's in a club in Carlisle, by the way. If anyone doesn't know.
One of our mates, I remember he was. I think I fancied one of her pals, and then one of my mates, I thought like had got with her before and said that he fancied her, so I thought like she was interested in him. Or maybe you were even trying to pull it, I can't remember.
Probably.
And then it turns out, like, I found out that she actually liked me. So I started seeing it, like, after that, we'd, like, text that night. I think I maybe kissed her that night, and then we text. And then, just ended up meeting her, but she was going to uni, like, literally not long after. And that was a bad relationship, really. Like, it was nice in some parts, but I was very bad in some parts as well, and probably wasn't respectful to the relationship a lot, so I'm sorry for that. I'll hold hands up. I wasn't fully invested in it in the way that she was, but again, I've matured from that and learned my lessons.
I think that's the main thing, isn't it? When you're young as well, you make so many mistakes and that, don't you? And it's just difficult. Like when you look back, you think, "Oh, what the fuck was I doing?" That? Yeah,
but, like you don't think you're doing anything wrong at the time, really. You just like doing it, living it. So,
and especially like for me in my first relationship, I thought like, "Oh yeah, I want to be with them because it's going to make them happy," but if you're not making yourself happy, you're going to make them miserable anyway, aren't you? You know what I mean? So it's easy just to end it in that. So think about yourself more, you know what I mean? Like if you're going to prolong a relationship, I think in my opinion, it's just going to end out even worse, isn't it? You're going to hurt fucking loads of people's feelings.
Yeah, you've just got to bite the bullet, and although there'll be a lot of tears and I'm with that girl as well, so I did eventually end things and just like quit off, but like there was a time period where like maybe 6 months where it was just like on and off because I'd break up with her and then she'd get upset and I'd feel bad and then take her back and like be like, oh, I was only joking. Sort of crack, and it's just like, and you just got to go through that like upset, heartbreaking stage and then come out the other side, both stronger people.
Yeah, I think there's lessons to learn in all relationships, isn't there? Really, that's the main thing. So like, so you had your because we kind of like flip between the two of being like one being single, one in a relationship.
We wanted it to be at the same time, and it never was. Literally, I'd always be single and like, oh come on, relationship and.
Because so you had your young one, and then I had mine at sixth form, and then you had yours at like 18 for a bit. Yeah. And then did I have mine next?
Yeah, you had your next girlfriend.
So I was at uni for 1 year, came back placement year, if you listen to the last podcast, for the second year, and then I went back to uni, and I was, 20, I was 20. And like, I've never really wanted like a girlfriend, do you know what I mean? Like, I've always just been like, I just want to be myself, be on my own for a bit, just concentrate on myself, and then I'll worry about getting a girlfriend in a relationship later on. But went back to uni. It was maybe like a few months later after I went back. And yeah, it just because I was working with the events company, and then I remember just like talking to her. It's weird thinking back, isn't it? Talking about exes and shit.
I remember you telling me actually saying something like she thought you always took things too far or something like that. Like, have you told me this before you were with her? Like,
Yeah, sorry,
there's
yeah.
this one girl that always think, and the next thing I know.
So she worked for the same events company as me, and like she'd sent me a few people to like sell tickets to and stuff. Can't remember why. Probably just wanted to talk to me. And then because I was on like the VIP door. Remember in Revs in Cardiff?
Yeah.
The upstairs bit into the VIP room.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I was on there with like wristbands and stuff. And then like I knew who she was, but like I was trying to be a dick. That's kind of like the mindset I was in back in the day. And then she was like doing guest list.
Was she trying to get in?
Yeah, she was like doing guest list or data, just like getting people's names for like a free shot or something, just so we could like text them and recruit people and stuff, or sell them tickets next week. And then she didn't have like a VIP wristband on with like a friend, but maybe a friend did or didn't. And then she was like, "I work here," and I was like, "Nah, you need a VIP band." She's like, "I work here." I was like, "Nah, you need a VIP band." Like, you know who I am? Like, nah, you need a wristband. And then just like for ages, and she like fucked off, and then she came back with a wristband on, and I was like, "Ah, go on then." And then I think she was maybe seeing someone at the time, like a DJ or something. I know she was seeing someone at the time, a DJ. And then what happened? I think like that ended for some reason. And then like, yeah, she just like kept on like replying to my Snapchat stories. And then I remember coming back to Carlisle because I think I was working or something at the hotel, and I was saying to you and Kieran in the gym, and I was just like, this girl. And then like the next time seeing her, like that was it. And then we were literally together like non-stop for fucking ages, like what, nearly 2 years. And then that's the relationship I grew up in a lot in, because if I didn't get in a relationship, I'd have been a wreckhead still probably, and like absolutely lost the plot. Because all I cared about was like going out, partying, getting with girls, and like nothing else. But yeah, I definitely matured in that relationship because I didn't care as much like of, I'm trying to think of the right word, like my persona or like what people perceive me as, like say being like a promoter or an events person. Is more like becoming a better person because I actually had like someone's feelings to care about, you know what I mean? Not just my own. So even though like I care about myself a lot and I do a lot of selfish things, which there's nothing wrong with being selfish. You want to focus on yourself and make yourself happy and develop your
as
own
long as you're not hurting anyone else.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Being selfish is like an important thing to be if you're going to bet yourself.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of negative connotation to being selfish, but I think it's a good thing. And like actually having to care for someone else's feelings and actually caring about somebody else was like a good thing for me at the time. Otherwise, like I said, I probably would have gone off the rails. Yeah, because there's a couple of stages I probably could have. And yeah, I remember that's like, I'm not sure if I definitely said I loved my first girlfriend, the school one. I loved her, but like after the second one, like I actually loved her. If you know what I mean, I didn't actually love the first one.
I think until like you think at the time, like each relationship, you think, oh yeah, I love it, but then I think until you've actually experienced something like that, then you know, 100%. Like, oh, that's actually what love feels like, and then ones previously weren't.
Yeah, because to say like, I think we started like seeing each other whatever in like October. We got official in like the November. Yeah, and then I told her I loved it in like the December. So it's like quite quick, but you might think it's quick, but we were like living together at uni, like non-stop. Like she'd stay at my house like all the time. But like that's obviously meeting in person, you know what I mean? So that was what, 5 years ago now. And I feel like, I'm not sure, I feel like I didn't really use dating apps that much. Like before that, maybe once I'd like met a girl from Tinder in Newcastle at that time. Yeah. If you remember that.
Oh, wait.
In Fourpies Flat.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So we'll backtrack a bit. So like dating apps, we're kind of going off into like our age of history now. Yeah, we're going back and forth. We don't give a fuck. So the only time I'd really used a dating app was before I got with my second relationship. It's weird not saying names, but I don't want to say names.
You have to bleep it out.
Yeah. And then I remember I kind of knew her anyway from like school, from like sixth form and that, and then like matched her. And then my tactic back in the day, even though I'd only did it once, was like organise a date a few weeks in advance or like a couple of weeks in advance, and then try and organise to meet up with a night out with them beforehand, so it wasn't like awkward to go on a date with them. But then we met up in like Newcastle and like in a club, and I was just like, oh, do you want to get some food? And then went to get food, and then obviously went back to Forby's house and that. But that's really the only time that I'd used like Tinder before like November this year. But so when I was with my girlfriend, did you get with yours? Your third one?
I can't remember. Because
I was like 20 to 22.
I got with my girlfriend. I was talking to her for a while. And, like, like I'd met her. We were talking for a little bit. And then she went away, like, travelling for like 6 months as soon as we, like, I think I'd kissed her the night before in Concrete again, doing bits for me. I think I'd kissed her the night before in Concrete. And then, like the day after she was going.
She met her in person in Concrete?
Yeah, and then she was getting, like, flying. I met her in the car again the next day, like, took her for driving. I think or maybe a couple of days later, she was flying to the other side of the world, New Zealand and stuff, for like 6 months. So.
How old were you then?
I was 22, I think.
22. So that must just literally like, I finished being in a relationship, and then you went into being like seeing.
Was that maybe the summer? Was that the summer you were in IB for that? Oh,
no.
Or was that the summer before?
That was the summer when we were in like a hideout.
I went to IB for, in fact, didn't I? You were with that girlfriend?
Yeah.
I feel like we should put random names on.
And we should have had room beforehand. Like Trisha. Yeah. Trisha was my second bird. So do you reckon that was your first proper relationship then? Or do you reckon the one before that was?
Well, I'd say they were all, in a way, proper relationships. But like this was the first one that I like did like properly love.
Yeah.
Like I knew.
Like adult.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I thought about it the other week. I was like, how did I know about being all deep and funny? Like I remember. That's when I said I loved her. Like we were sat on a couch and it just sort of came out. Like I just felt like I had to, like, it wasn't a forced thing where I felt like I was saying it back for a reason. Like I just like felt like I needed to say it. And that
like, that's quite cute. Like, I remember when I told my girlfriend I loved it. It was on the way back from work. Like same as you though.
Sorry, when I said it though, I was like I sort of mumbled it a bit. I was like, I love you. And she's like, what? I love you. Like,
what were you both sitting in silence?
Blurted it out. I think so. Just like, honestly. Yeah, I'm a pretty cool guy. But sorry, go on, what were you saying?
So no, I want to say, like, what were you doing then? Just like sat on the sofa and that?
Yeah, we just sat watching TV or something. And I was just, and I just thinking it. And like, I was like, I need to say this. I feel it, man. I was like, and then it just went.
That's mad.
Like, it didn't come out right. I remember.
What?
Smooth, man.
That is quite smooth. Like, it's weird what feelings can do to you, isn't it? Fuck you up. No, I was saying, I was on the way back from work, from Penrith to Brampton, and I remember I was like turning in, and then like I think we were on the phone, and then we hung up, and then I texted straight after. I was like, oh, I was gonna say I love you there, you know, and then she's like, oh, I was too. And then we like FaceTime when we got home, and then said it then. It was like weird because I probably bottle jobbed it. I was like, I don't want to say it first.
That's what's happened with my current girlfriend.
Is it?
That's jumping a bit far ahead, maybe.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that later on, I think. But, so yeah, that one. Should we talk about what we learned from the relationships or not?
I learned a lot with like that third relationship. Yeah. Like I've messed up big time, as you know. Yeah, I learned a hell of a lot of lessons there, and it's definitely made me a better person for.
What do you reckon specifically you learned? We're not like going into too much detail, you know what I mean? Like for this relation, obviously the relationship you're in now, what have you learned from the last one to do differently?
I think you've just got to be more honest with yourself about like the way you're feeling and your emotions, and like, because if you try and just say you're okay with stuff or like hide your emotions, then it'll just come out in a different way than like, and or you'll end up doing stuff that I don't know, you don't like, or you behave like in a way that you don't agree with or don't.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. To be fair, isn't it? It's a weird one because at the time you're just in it, aren't you? You know what I mean? And then when you reflect on it later, you're just like, fucking hell.
I have to do a lot of reflecting, like.
Yeah, you're like, I'm a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? But for me, I think it was just like growing up. Because I wasn't growing up at all when I was 20. I was just reckless.
I thought I was growing up at the time though, but like they always say like girls are 4 years more mature than boys. Like boys are 4 years behind in maturity levels, and at the time I thought I was mature, but like I was a year younger than this girl anyway, and I probably wasn't. And I still like wanted to see my pals all the time, like, and but yeah, I probably wasn't as far on maturity and like emotional intelligence as I thought
At the time that you think about it, aren't you? Like the same as us now. We'll probably listen back in 2 years and be like, what the fuck were we on about on that podcast, you know? But yeah, I actually like did stuff with this girl. Like we went on like holidays together.
You didn't just chase her around the playground. Yeah, she was still in school.
Yeah, she'll be glad to know we actually did activities, not me just chasing around halls runs and stuff, doing event shifts and that. And I did actually end up letting her into the VIP area without a wristband, so you'll be glad to know that. Yeah, like going on holiday and stuff together. We pretty much live with each other without actually living with each other. She came up to car and shit. But yeah, I think the main thing for me learning that was just like caring about somebody else apart from myself, which is quite good.
Yeah, that's a big thing, I think.
But even one of the reasons why it ended was because I was not caring, but like I was doing what I wanted to do, if you know what I mean, rather than like taking her feelings into consideration. So like with my job and stuff, when I was going to go move to like Aberdeen and shit, I was doing that for me, not thinking like of both people. But I think, especially at the time, like, you need to remember that 2 years is like a long time in a relationship, and people like grow apart, especially when you're young. Like when you say like 22, you're still like, on the podcast with Charlie, he was saying about like a jigsaw piece, and you're still always building your puzzle of like, say, your work, your friends, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And like, listening to another podcast, and it was saying like, if there's two people, and say you change like 1% each year, if you watch it on the visual here, over the time, your paths will slowly like unalign, if you know what I mean. So like, even if you're like get on like a house on fire, like your goals and aspirations may be slightly different over time, especially when you're figuring out yourself. Yeah. Especially like when, say, 18 to 21, 22, when you're at uni and stuff, like my career choices were changing so much anyway. It's like grow apart and stuff. Like, I'm still sound with her now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't talk to her or anything, but if, like, so, you know, say, like, hi to her and that, like, it didn't end badly and stuff. So, yeah, that's what I kind of learned. It's just people grow apart. And you can end amicably if you want to. You don't have to always...
Or not. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's just different situations. And I think it's quite cool, like, when people say, like, oh, why did you finish all your sound with your ex-girlfriend? And you're like, yeah, sound.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah.
I can't relate, really, but it'd be nice to be sound with an ex. I'd be happy to, like.
Yeah, but it's just different situations, like you say, different stages of lives and different reasons and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, that was mine. But
and then should I talk about my final?
Right, we've got this thing, right? Is because me and Luke are friends. Yeah, we've been friends like what since maybe 16. For maybe like 8 or 9 years probably now. Yeah. And then ever since he's got this new girlfriend, he doesn't even talk to me anymore. Like, he's bad at texting as it is, and now he won't even text me back for like 3 days. So every time he mentions this girl's name, I go beep 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 beep. So this is all he ever talks about. He doesn't talk about anything apart from her. So I have to interrupt him and be like beep beep beep. So I spend all my time going beep beep beep, and I'm out of breath constantly. But the thing is, right, are we naming her in this song?
Yeah, I think we can name her.
Okay, it's right, Hannah. Yeah. So I haven't done this in front of you, not once, because it's embarrassing, but every time Luke talks about you, which is all the time, I go beep, 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 beep. So
yeah, but one time, right, we were down in London and we were going to a restaurant in this for breakfast in this restaurant the day after we watched the football, and I was like, oh, someone asked what the restaurant was called, and the restaurant happened to be called Hannah's that I hadn't booked, my mate had booked. It's like Hannah's, and he was like beep, 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 beep. And every time I mentioned it in the restaurant, I was like, fuck's sake. The menu said Hannah's and everything. I was like, it's not my fault.
That was just convenient.
Yeah, I don't mention you that much, Hannah. So if you're watching, which you better be. Yeah. But yeah, well, actually, going back to the dating apps, originally me and Hannah did meet on Tinder. We had a back and forth. She says 2 messages. I think I sent maybe a good 10 messages at least. Yeah, and they were paragraphs though as well.
Paragraphs. They were heartfelt. Yeah.
And then I just sort of buyed it because I'm shit at replying anyway.
What, did you think she wasn't interested then?
Yeah, well, no, I thought like she seemed like a nice girl, and I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't need me. in her life. Yeah,
So you had a few back and forths then, or what was it? You sent like a couple of double messages in
yeah, just a few. No, we had just a few messages and stuff, and then she sent one back, and then I just never got around to reply. But like I've never messaged people on Tinder anyway. I do it for the swipes and most of the time.
Something to do,
yeah. So and then I did that, and then, just get like, and then just stopped messaging. But then I think I'd had her on Facebook. She'd followed me on Instagram, or the other way around, whatever. And then it was her birthday, like it was a couple of months later, and I'd messaged her wishing her happy birthday, and then she sort of carried on the conversation. I was like, ooh. And then she was out for her birthday, and her twin sister, Ruth, shout out to Ruth, was out with one of my mates, and she sent a picture saying, "Is this your pal? You should come and meet us." And I was in work at the time, but I asked if I could finish early, dived home, got changed, and went out to meet them. And I ended up spending the whole weekend with her, basically. And since then, it's history, I guess. It's going well. But yeah, and also what we were saying about the love you thing, and I hope Hannah doesn't mind me talking about this, but it's more of a sham for me, basically. But like, I'd upset her one time. We've had a couple of fallouts, not major. Upset her this one time, and then I was just proper emotional. We were drunk and we were out, and then I ended up like turning around and going like, "I love you, I love you." Just said it, and then even though I didn't really feel it at this point, this was quite a while ago, and she didn't say it back, and then the next day she said, "I like you." And if that's not a pie, I don't know what is. But we have since said we love each other, so it's all good. I'm not completely rejected. I'm not.
So with like your first like meeting and stuff, like with dating apps, obviously like you found it attractive. What do you like find attractive on like a dating profile for a girl? Then?
That's a good question. Like, obviously, I have to find them physically attractive to start off, like good looking and stuff. But like, I suppose photos of them if they're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to. I'm not picky, to be fair.
What are you trying to say about Hannah?
She just looked like a nice girl, and I don't know, she had a nice smile and stuff, so I was just attracted to that, really. I don't know, what about you? What do you?
They have to have a good quality picture. Like, it has to be high definition.
Oh yeah, you don't want some blurry, pixelated shit.
And if they've got like some kind of filter on that, you're not getting swiped.
Yeah. So there's two things. Filter. If every pic's got a filter on, then it's like, what's the real face like? Definite catfish. And obviously, if it's just a close up of the face on each pic, then you don't know what the rest of them looks like. And that's again catfishing. I think personally, you should have at least one full length pic.
Yeah. Because for me personally, I obviously like a pretty girl, and then I like someone who goes to the gym, because I like someone who. For me personally, I feel like if somebody goes to the gym, they look after themselves and they care about like the health and that kind of stuff. That's what I kind of like. But it just all depends, really. I think dating apps are a tough one. You know what I mean? Because like my most recent experience is with a dating app. So I've been setting my radius to like 50 miles. 50 miles goes to Newcastle now.
Oh, yeah.
And now I have a TikTok following. I get noticed quite a lot on dating apps.
It's a bit of a big deal.
Yeah, so I get messaged quite, like, back in the day when I was 16, I would never get messaged first, not once at all. And now I've got a few followers on TikTok. Girls find me cool for some reason, and I'm not good.
God knows why.
Yeah.
But they do.
Yeah, so they'll message me first now, right? And say like, "Oh, I swear I've seen you on TikTok," or like, I think this one maybe said something along the lines of, "Why are you on this app if you're giving out all the relationship advice on TikTok?" And I was just like, "Oh, here we go, another one."
I can't take my own advice.
yeah, and it's quite an easy one, like when you got that in. But in fact, instead of going into that story now, I'll say about my opening line. Should I? You don't have an opening line because you don't have any apps anymore because you're faithful. And that.
Yeah, I used to have a good opening line, but
should we talk about your old opening line?
What was it? I can't even remember.
You don't remember? Right, you try and remember, and I'll tell you mine. So, right, to be a bit different and stand out. So stand out from the crowd. Everyone says hey or hi, and I go see ? I don't think we'd get along with a thinking face. And like, what kind of replies do you think I get to that?
What kind of replies do you get?
Yeah, what do you think I get? If you were a girl, would you reply to that or not?
I would.
What would you say?
Why is that?
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. I quite like doing like lead generation and stuff for business, obviously prospect and that. So I just treat it the same way. So then C, I don't think we get along. Why is that? And then why do you think with an eyes face? And what would you say to that?
Well, why do I think that we wouldn't get along?
Yeah, I said why do you think? Yeah, so I'm saying why do you think we wouldn't get along?
Because I'm too feisty for you.
Yeah, and then I'll just say, No, you
Love
look
you.
like the type of wife that would run away and take the dog.
That's a good reply, like, to be fair.
Yeah, and then they normally say like ha 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 yes or ha ha no, and then I'd be like knew it, laughing eyes face, and then what dog would we get? Because girls love talking about dogs. If you're a girl out there watching this, you love dogs, don't you? 100% guaranteed. So then they say what dog they want, blah blah blah, and then say oh yeah sick whatever, and then tell me 3 facts about yourself. I used to say fun facts, but then that kind of like messed up. They're like, I don't have any fun facts about myself. It's just 3 facts.
Just anything.
Yeah, it's just 3 facts.
I'm not fun. I'm boring.
Yeah, it's just like when you say fun, it throws them off. It's just 3 facts. They tell you facts. You ask them about the facts. They ask you about yours, and then you're on to a winner. So yeah, if you want to steal that, that's trademarked. So you can't.
I
But
still can't think of my opening line. Like, although my bio, remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
It's, I can't remember what most of it was, but then there was a quote, and it was like in quotation marks, it's quite not bad looking for a ginger, and then end quote from my nana, and then below it says JK, my nana's dead. So it's quite brutal, funny, but
Yeah,
slutty at the same time. It draws them in anyway.
Yeah, I think my bio is I can guarantee my dog will. Your dog will like me better than you. So yeah, but yeah, that's our opening lines. And my recent one, was she messaged me first, then a bit of back and forth, and then she's literally said, "Oh, when are we meeting up then?" And I was like, "This Friday." I was like, "Oh, we'll go bowling, mini golf, sushi, food," and then I was like, "Oh, I quite need the toilet on the way home," so I just went for the toilet, and the rest is history. Seen her again, and then
Madly in love.
Yep, true love, wifed in, end of, and closed my DMs. So see you later. But yeah, that's basically my Tinder experience. Only 2 Tinder experiences, to be fair. Not like too exciting. Have you had any Tinder experiences?
Yeah, and the girl I was seeing before, like last year, if you remember who that is.
Yeah.
I met her on Tinder.
How did that open?
I think I just said something like IAU, and then
Casual.
IYA, and then the letter U, straight in there. And I'd met someone a recent time, like this similar time to that as well. We just went for a night out. This other girl, she's just like, "Oh, do you fancy going out tonight?" And then just went and met her, went on a night out. But with this other girl, went on a proper date with her, took her out, and then we've seen each other for a few months. Didn't work out in the end, but she was a lovely girl.
Do you think, like, I know one of our friends who's getting married, they met on a dating app.
Oh yeah. And another friend who's who's got a dog. Not recently. But
Yeah.
They met on a dating app as well.
Yeah, it's mad. I feel like a lot of people do it these days. Like for me personally, I think I'd like to meet in person first. But
I don't feel like my personality comes across properly on like messages and like dating apps and shit. Like I much prefer to meet someone in a bar or like whatever.
Yeah, it's difficult for me now because I obviously don't drink. So like being out in like a club or a bar, people think I'm weird because I don't drink, and it gets them a bit on edge.
Yeah,
they're like, "Why don't you drink?" And you're like,
"Oh, he's quiet."
Yeah, you're like, you don't understand. You won't. It's like not even worth explaining. You know what I mean? So like for me, messaging on like Tinder, Iris dating app, best app out there.
Yeah, Iris is good. Find your soulmate.
Like Instagram, whatever. It's easier because people can get like more of a sense and a feel of like who I am and like understand why I don't drink. You know what I mean? Rather than a night out, they're like, "You're fucking weird."
Yeah, like I'm like get sick of defending you sometimes when people are like, "You're at that barbecue at Anna's," you're kind of like, "Why aren't you drinking?" That's weird, man. I'm like, just let people have their own decisions.
It's not even worth explaining. You know what I mean?
Nah,
like,
it's just long, innit?
It's easy to just like now. I'm just like, I just can't be asked. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like we've just talked about more relationships and dating advice, dating apps on there. But it is what it is. Luke's got to go to football now, so we're just gonna have to fly through.
Short.
I reckon just fly through three facts and then 2
facts.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
So I reckon you just do 3, and then I'll do like a couple of relationship ones, and then we'll go because we did have some technical difficulties to start with. I do apologize.
I'm going to do more than 3 facts, but I'll tell you 3 facts first.
Okay. All right, go.
And then I will give you percentage questions.
Oh, so they're going to be like the true or false kind of thing, the percentages.
Yeah, they'll be like.
Okay. So this is Luke's segment of what's it called?
Luke MC's famous facts. Except they're not that famous. So, falling in love can be as addictive as nicotine or cocaine, studies have shown.
Really, that's true.
Yeah,
I could imagine that because when you're in the moment, aren't you? You're just like, oh, I just have to be with this person. Like, I just love them so much, and that's believable to
You
me.
want that other hit of like dopamine to the brain. That's it, man. Right. Fact number 2: it can only take 4 minutes. Sorry, it only takes up to 4 minutes to know if you actually like someone or not.
4 minutes.
And if you don't know about them, then obviously you don't like this person.
Really? So 4
Obviously,
minutes.
like that's the initial. It could change your mind another time, but like you will know within 4 minutes whether you really like someone or not.
Okay. So like, say if I met you for the first time, and in the first 4 minutes, I didn't. No. You said within the 4 minutes you'd know. So that's like the time frame you need.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can believe that. That's
why first impressions are key.
Yeah.
But also don't judge a book by its cover. Right.
All the contradictions.
Yeah. And couples, or people that are in love, their heartbeats synchronize to the same beat.
Really? That's true.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So that's when they're both actually like in true love.
Yeah. You're looking into each other's eyes, lying there in bed.
So do you reckon if I measured yours and beep, 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 heartbeat, they'd be the same?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe mine and yours right now.
Oh, they definitely are like.
Right, now, percentage questions.
Here we go.
What percentage of people in the UK use a dating website / app to cheat on their significant other?
To cheat?
Yeah. Is it A, 3%, B, 7%, or C, 12%?
The thing is with this, right? If you're going to cheat on your partner, which I would not recommend doing, obviously, but like, you've got to be more sneaky about it, haven't you? If you're going on a dating app and your location is in the same place as where you live, like, that boy or girl is going to have friends on that dating app probably and be able to see you and swipe you and match you and unmatch you. Like, they'll probably decide to swipe right to see if you will match them back. So it's 3, 7, or 12% he's in.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be. I'm surprised it's as high as 3%, but it's got to be 3%. It's got to be the lowest, 100%.
7%?
7%?
Idiots.
So what? So that's people in a relationship. 7% of them. 7% of people overall who are in a relationship cheat on them and go on an app.
7% of people use dating apps to cheat.
So what? So say there's like 60 million people in the country. How many do you reckon in relationships? Like a quarter?
Unless it's 7% of people who cheat. Nah, it said 7% of the people.
Yeah. Fucking hell. So what? Say 15 million people in a relationship, and that's what? 1.5 million is 10%. So that's what? Like just over 1 million people? That's madness. If you're doing that, stop doing that.
Stop it.
Like, obviously,
cheat the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
No, don't cheat at all.
Yeah. If you're going to cheat on them, you've got to be more under the radar, but just don't do it in the first place. If you're not happy if you're not happy in a relationship, just tell them and get out of it, because you're just going to make yourself miserable and them unhappy as well. But yeah, 7% of people, you're fucking idiots.
Right, we've got another one.
Oh, here we go.
You ready for this? What percentage of online dating users are talking to 4 to 5 contacts at the same time?
Oh.
Is it A, 10%, B, 25%, or C, I was going to say D then, or D, 57%?
10, 25, or 57. Right, so this is overall for male and female.
Mm-hmm.
Because I reckon females probably talk to more than males,
4 to 5, by the way, so not just like more than one. It's actually 4 to 5. That's a lot of people to talk to. I can't keep up with one person.
I know, it is hard graft. Because you've got different conversations coming left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Like, what do we talk about? Who and that? And I know one of my friends, he lives down south. One of my good friends. He used to always have a girl on different networks. So like, one would be on text, one would be on Instagram, one would be on Snapchat, one would be on Facebook.
So much effort. And like, if you've ever tried, like, I've not done it often, but I've been talking to more than one person before, and nothing serious with any of them. But then, like, you get mixed up. Well, I get mixed up with the conversation, and like, think I've talked about something to someone else, or say the wrong thing, and it's like, it's just a mess. Like, I can't deal with it. I don't know how people do.
I'm gonna say 25%.
That is correct.
Oh,
and our final one for the day.
So I'm going 2 out of 2 here.
What percentage of people find out that they have been catfished or someone's lied about their identity? Like someone they're talking to, sorry.
Really?
What percentage? Is it A, 12%, B, 27%, or C, 34%?
10, 27 or 34. Fun fact, actually, I actually asked her on a TV show. I think it was Catfish or something like that, Catfish. And she said, have you ever been catfished? And I was like, to be fair, no, but I wish I said I could. Be funny. 10, 27 or 34. To be fair, I reckon it's not as common as people think. Because is this actually meeting up or just like messaging?
And just said has been catfished or like someone's lied about their identity. So obviously they must have found out about it in the end. You know?
To be fair, I reckon it's not as common as people think. 10%.
34%.
You having a laugh?
It's like a third of people.
A third?
Catfished. I'm trying to think if I've ever been catfished.
To be fair, I feel like I've...
So. I remember watching one catfish. I think it was a US one. So I'm sure someone thought they were talking to Katy Perry. It was some famous celebrity.
Really?
I think it was Katy Perry. And even after they proved it wasn't, like, no, Katy still loves me.
Fucking, that's mad. But to be fair, I do feel like I do get a message from random accounts sometimes. And the top tip is to check on Instagram, right? If you get a message from someone that you think might be a catfish or a fake account, go into the tagged photos. And if they don't have any tagged photos on there, it's going to be a fake account, because what person has got Instagram and hasn't been tagged in a photo by one of your friends?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got 2 out of 3 there, did I?
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Not
right.
bad going.
Smash through, like, Luke's got to go ASAP, but we'll do some relationship advice here. So we've got messages in, some really, really interesting questions. A bit more specific today than last time. So first one, we're going to go with a boy's name. We're going with the boy's name.
In short term, pick today.
Oh, is it? I reckon we go with Bernard.
Bernard, that's a little
Bernard.
name.
We won't go with Gilfie because that's a bit controversial today. But Bernard. So Bernard says, I've got a lot on my plate. I feel like it's easy to fall in a trap of taking each other for granted. Before I even realise it, I've already just discussing mundane essentials of everyday life, just eating meals and staring at our phones. This is among the top of my problems in the relationship. I feel like we're drifting apart.
I'm a bit confused with the question there, Bernard.
So I think he's just having problems that he's got a lot on his plate, and he feels like he's just like coasting through the relationship. He's just literally speaking to his partner, girlfriend, about just like the everyday essentials of life. Like literally at meals, just saying like, "Oh, what'd you do at work?"
Yeah,
no substance. That's what I'm kind of getting from that.
Yeah, you need to get
losing
that
the spark
back.
What do you think you need to do here, rather than just like sitting at his phone at the dinner table and that?
Well,
and they feel like, because you feel like he's drifting apart. They feel like drifting apart. What are they gonna do?
That's not what you want. I think you need to just like take the bull by the horns and like do something romantic, surprise, or take her away maybe, or like do some cute rose petals on the bed, you know. Proper Casanova. Just do something.
Hannah, you are in for a treat here.
Hey, not me. This is for another person. Yeah, and just like do something to spruce it up a bit. Like, yeah, or do something exciting sex like that, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into detail, but yeah, just do something.
I think getting out of the house is a good one, isn't it? Because you can get, like you're saying, if you're sitting at the dinner table and that, you're staring at your phone, just talking about the generic stuff, you're just going through the motions of your life. But if you go away, you don't have a care in the world, you don't have to do the dishes, you don't have to do the washing. You're in your own little world, you can forget about your problems.
Yeah.
So you reckon that? Just go night away, rose petals on the bed and
just
that?
Do something and just like... Or just do something spontaneous. Spontaneity is key. Like, I love doing spontaneous things, and I think just doing that every so often when your girlfriend or your significant other is least expecting it will just bring a spark back to the relationship.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, isn't it?
Don't let that spark ever go, really, but...
You heard it here from the man himself, you know what I mean? He doesn't mess about with his relationship advice.
No, I don't.
To be fair, we have got 4, but I'm just going to pick another one because we're very time specific. You're going to have to rush to footy, son.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so... Oh no, to be fair, I've fucked up and only copied.
Yeah,
I did have 4, but I've copied the same one. The second one 3 times. So this is what we got. So this is a little bit more light-hearted. So who has to take responsibility of doing the dishes? Like, who takes it out? Who takes the rubbish out? How often how do we decide who mows the lawn and how often, and who will do it?
Who asked this question?
This is a girl. Gertrude's having some problems with a man. So as inconsequential as these sound, we have massive disagreements over these chores around the house, obviously in American.
Yeah.
And these, I feel like these are the biggest of our problems. So to be fair, Gertrude does say these are inconsequential, but I think it's just like... It's all over the shop.
That is a shocking message, Gertrude. Sort your shit out, man. I'll try and make head and toe with that. That's not a fucking saying either, is it?
It is now.
Right. I think that well, you don't have to go against. You can go against the social norms of like what men and women should usually do. Obviously, it's different to back in the day where men used to go out to work and women would just be expected to do the cooking and the cleaning and all that. I think it's good to have a balance between you and share the responsibilities out. Like my mum and dad, for example, my dad will cook the tea, which is that was never seen back in the day, but he's probably a better chef. So he cooks the tea and then my mum always does the dishes after, so they share that out. But I think it's good to just take an equal portion of it, depending on how much workload you've got and stuff.
I think communication is key, isn't it? You just got to
in simpler terms.
Yeah, you got to just lay it out on the table and be like, whatever. What's Gertrude's boyfriend called? Like, what we call him? Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Right, be like, Jeff, you're doing the dishes, you're mowing the lawn, and I'm fucking doing the clothes washing. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You're doing the lawn every single week.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck unless you got loads of grass. But yeah, it's communication. Like, you just got to talk to him about it. If you can't talk to Jeff about it, then you're fucked and you're not going to last. So, you heard it here first. Best relationship advice out there.
Speedy, well, like speed dating, but with our relationship.
Yeah,
it's rapid.
like
nothing to do with me having to go to football, but
yeah, just like message your questions in, all that kind of shit. This is the podcast over for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Have you got any final thoughts?
No, I've enjoyed that again. I felt like we could have talked more. It's my fault for being on a tight schedule.
Well, we did try and film it about 3-4 times.
yeah. If we hadn't fucked up so many times at the start.
Right, everyone, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.